going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. I'm your host, Zach SchuZ Schumaker. I hope you guys are all having an incredible Thursday so far. Now, to kick off today's show is a man that's coming off of a big-time victory just a couple of weeks ago. He has a 15-1 record with 9 KO. He's currently ranked number 1 by the WBA, number 13 by the WBO, number 15 by the WBC in the junior bantamweight division. He goes by the nickname Scrappy. That's SchuZ Ramirez. John, appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
What's going on, bro?
Not much. Well, we got to start with one thing, as I just said. You're coming off of a great victory, dominant performance, 80-72 on one scorecard. The other one had it 79-73. What's your thoughts on that performance now?
I think it was a great performance. Everything I've been working in the gym, I was able to display.
Right.
Not to mention that my opponent was not my original opponent,
Yeah.
so it shows you I was prepared. I fought a southpaw. I was getting ready for a right-hander, and yeah, no excuses. Took the fight because I need to stay busy.
Mm-hmm.
And made it look easy. Honestly, my training was harder than the fight. After the fight, I got to reflect and just, man, it was about 15 weeks of hard work, hard sparring. Bigger guys as well because it's hard to find people my weight to get sparring, but
Right.
it all paid off.
I want to ask about that because, it's boxing. There's going to be situations where guys can't fight for one reason or another. Things happen. You have to be ready on the fly. That happened to you most recently. Now, you were supposed to originally go out there and fight Henderson. So when you're put in a position where all of a sudden, you've prepared for this guy for the past however many weeks it's been, a whole camp, things switch up on the very last minute. How do you adjust to that on the fly as a boxer?
It's not even as a boxer, as an elite athlete.
Right.
You must be ready for anything. There's no
Mm-hmm.
surprises. You gotta visualize many outcomes, and that's what I like to do. So yeah, you gotta be ready. There's no room for excuses, bro. At the end of the day, no one wanna hear excuses. You gotta be ready. And if you're not ready, figure it out in a moment. And to piggyback right off that, figure it out in a moment. That's been my career. I've
Mm.
been figuring it out as I'm moving forward because I
Right.
started late in this game. So I'm learning as I'm fighting. I'm figuring it out. Is it easy? No, but
Mm.
not once you've heard me talk about that or make excuses
Right.
due to my performance. And even when I think I have a good performance, I never subconsciously I'm never satisfied. I always right after the fight, I get to the locker and I'm start asking questions and yeah, I want to master this, bro.
Mm.
Um I want to master and I'm heading the right direction. In a short period of time I've accomplished a lot, but there's more to be done.
I love that answer. And I want to ask you this other aspect too, because, you look at the situation. Did you have much information on Jesus Morales? Like, did you know much about him at all? Or did you go in that ring and just like, all right, let's figure it out as we go?
There's no I know I didn't have much information.
All right.
They got me the opponent. I checked his box rig, saw one or two fights quick, and I'm like,
Mm.
all right, cool. I seen a couple mannerisms, couple things that he likes to do, his style, his approach, and I cooked off my what I saw.
You also talked about another aspect I love that you said. And you said, you know what? You're going to get back in the room, locker room. You're going to kind of reflect on the fight. You're going to look at yourself and say, what can I improve on? So I have to ask you, in this most recent fight, what's something that you looked at and said, you know what? I want to get better in this way?
At this point, it's all about decision making for me. Like
Okay.
I could fight, I could box, I could counter punch.
Mm.
Maybe about understanding slowing the pace, a little bit, especially when you've been out the ring for 6 months. You kind of get excited early, and
Mm-hmm.
um, you want to start quick. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, But when you're at this level and you're fighting 10, 12 rounds, there's more time. It's more of it's a slow and methodical process.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that at any given moment the opportunity may present itself, and if it does, you got to take it. So that's where I'm at with my journey.
All right, love that. Well, Scrappy, I have to get into your story because you have quite the story. You already alluded to it briefly there. This has not been something you've been doing your whole entire life. This started most recently, and so I want to ask so people get to know you better. And so we're gonna go back pre-boxing era, growing up out there in California. You obviously came from a tough upbringing. You had a lot of stuff going down around you. What kept you so locked in on pursuing your dreams and your goals?
Just trying to make it out of my environment.
Mhm,
I come from a broken family, mother on one side, father on the other. Um, and I was trying to figure it out. I knew that I was born to be great. And
mhm,
throughout my process as an athlete growing up, I've been around good coaches that cared about me, that used the sport to teach me about life.
mhm,
And one thing that I took from Coachy was find your greatness. And he used to say that every time we used to be it used to get hard and
mhm,
everybody would start complaining, throwing up. And we had spring hills, and he said, "Y'all got more, and you gotta find your greatness. As you're in pain, find your greatness." So me growing up, I've been through a lot of pain. I never make no excuses, bro. I never cried or complained. It is what it is. We had to figure it out.
mhm,
But as you're figuring it out, you find your greatness, find your purpose. There's no time to complain or cry, like I said. So that's what I did. As I'm trying to figure it out, I chose boxing. That was like my last choice, my last option, and I gotta make this work. At this point, it's survival mode, honestly.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Because I know
right.
I don't wanna do a 9 to 5, not to just for those people that do, but
Fair enough.
that's
Yep.
not something that I wanna do. I wanna do something that I'm involved, I'm passionate, and I wanna get better, and I know that I have a bright future on it, and I'm something that could take me out the inner city, out my environment, cause ain't nothing good where we come from. Don't get me wrong, I love it
Right.
because I've learned a lot. It builds character in that type of environment, you feel me?
Right.
But there's a lot of beautiful things out here in this world, and I'm not settling for less, bro.
That's a huge thing right there. In a sense, you could say it's a blessing in disguise. You come to a situation that obviously you wouldn't overall want. It's not the best situation in the world, but it's helped make you into who you are today. It's given you that edge. It's given you that motivation you've talked about. As you've now grown into who you are today, as the guy that's now 15-1, a top ranked contender, how would you say that environment helped shape you into the man that you are today?
It builds callous, so
Mm,
it gets easier. Tough times ain't tough to you because that's normal.
okay.
That's what it did for me. When I see other people complaining about things that don't even make sense to me to be complaining about, I'm like, how? But then I gotta stop for a second and be like, he comes from a different type of upbringing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah,
All right. Well, the very first sport you pursued, and you pursued it for quite some time, was football. I have to ask about that journey for
really,
yourself.
really, really, my first sport was soccer,
Okay,
which no
soccer.
one knows about that. And I
Really?
was really good at soccer. I remember I used to play for the so I started playing soccer when I was like 3. When I turned 8, I remember I used to play for like the small group. Then there's like the 12, and then I was playing with the bigger kids. It was like 13 to 15.
Okay.
And coaches used to ask my pops, like, yo, we need him, we want him, like, bring him. And that was my first passion. That
Really?
was
Okay.
my early my goals and visions, like I want to become a professional soccer player.
Well, I have to follow up on that component then. So, what was the transition for yourself then? Like, why did you decide to go from soccer to football eventually?
That happened because my father was my trainer.
Okay.
There's a period of time where I left my father and I moved in with my mother, and that's when I lost the soccer. And my
Mm,
mother was busy with the real life, working, keeping the food at home, the lights
right.
on, just too busy. So I didn't have the luxury to join the team. There was
Okay.
no time, no assistance, no nothing. So for me, it was like staying in school in the streets. That was my
Mhm.
occupation. Luckily, my schools had these after school programs where there's a couple, matter of fact, a few people that played key roles in my life and helped me got to the right path.
Gotcha. I want to kind of follow up on the soccer thing. I'm not obviously a super big expert on that, but from what I have just heard before, overall, since soccer is not a dominant sport in America, it's more so basketball and football, it becomes very expensive because there's not as much school opportunities there as well for yourself. Do you feel like that is something that, had it been more accessible for yourself, you would have continued to pursue soccer when you're earlier or younger?
Now, bro, you look, my story is layers. There's many layers to my story.
Right.
Again, I haven't really opened up,
Hmm.
but at the age of 8, I moved with my father to Honduras. So
Right.
we lived in a third world country, Honduras, where I had to learn Spanish, get accustomed to the food, the culture,
Hmm.
even getting used to like cold water. Ain't no warm water over there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But I started playing for the national team out there, and soccer is real big, super popular
Right.
in South America, just all over the world except for America.
Right.
But the future was looking bright. Then one day things just on a random day, my father just told me, "Yo, you're going back with your mother to visit."
Mm.
That visit ended up for me staying here permanently.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it happened real quick, and it was like a wake up call because it's like my father was everything to me, and just out of nowhere, like I had to. Okay, I'm with my mother. I'm not too close to her, and I don't know what to do.
Mm.
But at the same time, there's kind of some type of release because my father was super. Uh, he kept me accountable.
Right.
um my mother, there is room for freedom to do what I wanted to do, and that's what I ended up doing, but
Mm.
yeah.
That had to be extremely tough. You're looking at yourself, you're a kid, 8 years old, you're going from America to Honduras. That's a tough transition I have to imagine. Like you said, complete culture shock, complete lifestyle shock. How did you handle that as
New
just being a young kid? How do
friends.
you do it? Right, new friends, everything,
How
new
did I
school.
do it? Just rolling with the punches, bro.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know, you're a kid, so you're just living life, you're not taking
Right.
anything serious. You see things, you learn the culture, you get accustomed, you get adjusted, and you keep it moving forward. Like I said, bro, there is no room for us to be complaining. Like,
Mhm.
complaining was not part of our culture. We never complain.
Which transition would you say was harder for yourself, going from America to Honduras to live there, or then the reversal coming back to America?
I think coming back to America because again, my role model, my father was everything. That was the
Mhm.
person that was guiding me, and I was on a
Okay.
good path. So when you leave, when that relationship got broken, it's like, wow.
Mm.
Then you start you I grew up mad. I grew up confused because I didn't know what was going on. Like, we had plans. My plan was to become a soccer player.
Mm.
Like, I was real good. Out the
Right.
blue, everything just shifted.
Mm.
But it is what it is, man. That's life. Look, now I get to look back, and everything that happened played a now plays a part, especially when I fight, bro. For example, when I lost, like, I was prepped to lose. I've lost so many times in life,
Mm.
not in a competitive way, but in different ways,
Right.
where I'm able to. take what happened, and instead of complaining, I could dissect the situation and find the understanding and to grow from it, to keep moving forward because I know that that's not the end of it, bro.
Yep.
And again, all of it sounds easier than what it is. It's super hard in the moment, but can
Mhm.
be emotional. You got to be logical.
This kind of does jump ahead. I was going to ask about that loss of David Jimenez because for so many guys, losing that O is such a massive thing for boxers. And some guys take it the right way, as it appears you have done. Some don't. When you look at the overall life that you had to live living up to that point, how much did that help you how to properly handle that loss?
I think that was the best thing that happened to me because I wasn't ready to be a champion. Here's the thing: if I win that fight, now I gotta defend that fight. So, is it better for me to learn my lesson then
Right.
and then keep moving forward? Because I already got the lesson. I know what happened if thing. I gain a lot of wisdom, bro. Money can buy that. Time can buy. Only time can buy that.
Yep.
So it happened. I learned and I'm in a better situation. I'm not back there. I'm not your typical person that you got these hype guys and then they end up losing and their career is like over. For me it's a badge of honor and I took that as an opportunity for me to show the people who I am because I do talk the talk, but I also walk the walk, bro.
Mm.
I'm truly whatever I say, I believe.
All right. You lose that fight to David Jimenez. You go back to the locker room. What goes through your mind? What are you thinking about that point in time?
Oh, I'll be back. As I'm this a video matter of fact, as I'm walking, I'm replaying the fights, I'm replaying scenario sequences, and then there's this girl where she's like, I'm proud of you, keep her head up. I'm like, oh, I'll be back. Believe that I'm good.
All right.
That's what I said.
Mm.
Literally, bro. And as I'm saying that, like I'm feeling broken. There's this um my heart is burning as I'm walking the aisle because my pride got hurt. I'm a fighter,
Mm.
but I gotta put that away and learn from it because it happened to me. Doesn't mean that it's over. But I also learned that I belong here.
Mm.
Bro, I just went 12 rounds with someone that's been doing this shit for so long, and that was my worst performance.
Yeah.
So if that was my worst performance and people actually like what they saw, imagine me with more experience and on like me on fire.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I just have to ask you this question then. This kind of goes into your future plans, but Jimenez is obviously a man. He's interim champion right now. Is that a rematch that you want to have again?
Absolutely.
All right.
Bro, like I said, where we come from, if you get your ass whooped, the next time I see you, we gonna have to fight.
Mm.
The point is we gonna keep fighting till I win. That's how I came. You know what I'm saying? Look, if I never win, it's like I never gave up. I
Mm.
tried and I tried. And listen, I'd rather go out that way than not trying, which
Yeah.
most people never try. So
Is that
yes, I wanna avenge my loss, absolutely. But this ain't about feelings.
right?
This ain't a tough man sport. This is about right time, right fight.
Mm.
So I'm looking at the playing field right now and seeing the best fight for me. I really want to fight Jesse, man. He's the best at this weight class right now.
Yep.
Listen, I believe I'm up there with the best. Um, listen. He needs a dancing partner. I don't think I know I'm the right dancing partner.
All right. Well, you kind of answered that.
Chocolatito, he's a pound for pound legend. He's on
Yep.
his way out. That's a great fight that I would like to make happen. So I'm looking for the big fights, brother.
All right. Well, I have to ask you this because there's a lot of movement at 115 right now. You look at guys we know first and foremost, Pumila Kafu Bam's fighting now in what is it now, 8 days or whatever it is, 9 days from now. So I have to ask you real quickly on that one. Who do you have winning that fight?
I don't know much of he's South African, right?
Correct. Yep. Pumile
Yeah,
Kafu. Yep.
I'm not familiar with him, so I can't even speak on him. But
Okay.
I saw a couple videos, and he can fight. He's
Yeah,
a
he
champion
can.
for a reason.
He's good. Yep.
So should be a good fight. I'm gonna be tuning in, and I'm gonna watch.
And we also saw the news now that Bam already has his next fight lined up against Puma Martinez. I'm not sure if there's a clause of whether or not he beats Puma Kafu, but when you have that situation, what's your thoughts on that? Having a fight already booked, he's doing the press conference tomorrow before he fights for his world championship fight. What's your thoughts on that whole situation?
It just shows you that they got a plan.
Right.
There's a plan. So for Jesse, it's a good thing. For his opponent, it's his opportunity to interrupt that and him to take that. Again, I'm outside looking in. I don't judge, bro. I'm really focused on what I got going on. So
Love it.
I'm just looking, no judgment, and I'll make my move based off the outcome.
All right. So you see all these different guys. You know, we talk about the champions right now. As of today, Bam, Cafu, Puma Martinez, Willie Baldo is also another guy. Then you also have top contenders like Maloney. Jimenez is obviously in the group right there. Roman Gonzalez, Julio Cesar Martinez, hypothetically, is in the mix there as well to a certain extent. When you look at all these guys, if you were to say, you know, your top three guys that you want to fight, who would they be?
I already named him. Jesse Bam Chocolatito.
Okay.
And I want probably avenge my loss with David.
All right. I love it. Let's hop back into your story, John, because I want to get to people to know your transition then from that overall lifestyle you're talking about soccer into football. What brought you into that story? Why did you decide to go into football?
So football, because of the contact. You know,
Right.
growing up with so much anger, and when I first saw someone hit hit someone, I'm like, yo, you could do that. I want to do that. I want to be able to hit people, and not get in trouble. So that sparked my interest, and then in school they got flag football, so that's how we started flag football, playing in the streets, playing in the building with my friends,
Mm.
and then we ended up having Pop Warner at my middle school, Lacan. And from there, we got recruited to play at Helen Bernstein. Helen Bernstein ended up going to college. My goal was to go to a D1. Grades weren't good, so I had to go to a JUCO. Ended up going to LA Valley to get my grades up. And then that's where I realized, I'm like, bro, I'm wasting my time, because at this point, I'm just playing just to play. I'm really not taking care of school. Um, then we don't have no money. We got to be in school all day. Like, I'm in survival mode. I'm like, I'm wasting my time. I need to figure it out.
Mm. Mm.
And in that time, I got lost in the street again because I wasn't going to school. I ended up dropping out of school. And one night out the blue, I'm thinking like, yo, I need to really get my shit together. Time is ticking. Uh, I'm like, what should I do? Let me join the army. Let me go to the Navy, something. Seriously, I went and I tried it.
You did
I
enroll. I saw
walked
that.
in, I'm
Right.
like, yo, like, I want to enlist in the army. And they're like, you can. You look at your neck tattoos. You
Mm.
can. I'm like, for real? I'm like, cool. Then I went to the Navy SEALs, went to the Marine, and they all told me the same thing. I'm like, bro, what? What am I gonna do? Man, sitting down in the crib, I'm high, bro. I'm smoking when I'm high, and I'm looking at Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and I see Mayweather do a pull counter. I'm like, man, I could do that, bro. It look easy because I'm a visual learner. So if I see
Right.
something and I see the technique, and I get a good understanding, I process it mentally, and if I could do it here, my body could follow. So I'm like, yo, let me try to box.
All right.
Ended up going to wild card, and when I went to wild card, the first person I spoke to was Rob Peters. Rob Peters used to run the gym. He used to take care of the gym. He was the man in the front, taking care of the parking lot, the bags, anything. I spoke to him like, listen, I'm interested on boxing. What do I have to do?
Mm-hmm.
So he broke it down. He's like, look, I suggest maybe you want to do a couple amateur fights. If that goes good for experience, then you could turn pro. I'm like, all right, cool. So who do I need to talk to? He's like, look, talk to Superman. Superman's the amateur coach. I'm like, cool, where is he? Well, he's like, yo, he gets back at 6. That's the time they start practicing. It's the amateur team. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll wait. I literally waited like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I remember it's like 4 when I got to the gym. So I ended up waiting, spoke to Superman, and he broke it down. He's like, look, come tomorrow, be ready, and boom. That was the story. First day, I hit the bag. We did some mids. I'm like, yo, I want to spar. He's like, you not ready. A week went by, and I ended up sparring. I sparred the best amateur at Wildcard at that time, which was Christian Robles. Before him, I had sparred an Asian guy. The Asian guy got worked. So I'm like, oh, I'm feeling good. But listen, cardio, boxing cardio is a different thing.
Yeah.
I was good for 1 round. After the first round and the dude stepped out because he was getting touched, Christian got in and man, I remember I was so tired I couldn't even hold my own. But I did hold my own, but I couldn't fight back.
Yeah,
So
I
he
see what you mean.
he he ended up touching me up. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna get better, and I'm gonna whoop your ass. That was my motive for like 2 months, bro, to
Mm.
get better so I could whoop my boys, my boys' ass. But that was the sport. Next thing you know, I got my payback. They ended up bringing me down a private gym for with Freddie, and I'm sparring his fighters.
Mhm.
They need work, they need sparring. So I'm like, yo, come down here. Went down there and I held my own, learned a lot. And that was really the start, man. Just
Mm.
being around Freddie, soaking up as much game and sparring. A lot of sparring. Listen, I did rounds after rounds after rounds. The first time I went down there, I did like 4 rounds. And Freddie's like, "You got 2 more?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm showing no type of weakness, and I'm showing that I really want it. Mind you,
Mhm.
I'm tired, but this is my opportunity. I gotta take it.
Right.
I'm like, 2 rounds, come on. Then after the 2 rounds, he comes back. He's like, "You got 1 more?" I was like, "I got 1 more. Come on." Did that, and then he tried me once more. He's like, "You got 1 more?" I'm like, "Yes." Really, I didn't have it, but I figured it out. That's what it does. Look,
Right.
if you push through, you will figure it out. You don't
Mhm.
understand, bro. If you can control the moment you want to freak out, if
Yep.
you can control that, bro, there's so much more that you could accomplish. Anyways, that's what I ended up doing. So I got it. Long story short, bro, I ended up figuring out that at first they wanted to touch me up. They wanted to test me.
Mhm.
And that's why they were asking for extra rounds. I earned my bets.
Yep.
I earned my respect through that process, and that was the opportunity that I needed, and I got it, and because of that, I'm here, brother.
I love it. All right, so you brought up another couple of things I actually want to dive into. You brought up in that story. One of which is that you talked about the fact that when you were younger, you got involved with streets a little bit. Some of those things started to impact you a little bit. What brought you back? Why did you decide to say lock back in and say, you know what, this isn't meant for me. I've got something greater. What brought you back into being focused on your life?
Because I know I was born to be great. I've been told that my whole life, bro. When
Mm-hmm.
you hear the same thing over and over and over, it becomes an echo in the back of your head when you're doing what you're not supposed to be doing. Or at
Mm-hmm.
least when you're in a room and all the people they're doing their own thing and you just feel out of place, like I don't belong here. I'm
Right.
here because I was born in this type of environment, but I don't belong here. I've always had these type of conversations with myself, and those are a blessing, but that's like a power, that's kind of that's like the inner voice that is guiding you to find your greatness, and that's how I view it. I
Mm-hmm.
follow it. If I really pay attention to it, which has led me here. I've been following. Nobody's got him. I don't have my father. There's people that have gave me advice, but at the end of the day, I gotta listen to that voice, dog.
Mm-hmm.
That voice is a superpower.
Yep.
Even the way I train myself, because I have coaches, but at the same time, I do my own thing. And I think a certain way. I see the boxing game a certain way. So I approach it in my way, and I listen to that voice,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been working.
All right. You turn pro. We talk about your amateur career a little bit there. You fight 8 fights the very first year, calendar year. You fight exactly on the same day in December, making it 8 fights in one calendar year. That's crazy. What brought you through that, going through 8 pro fights in 12 months?
Man, listen, that was the best time of my life, or at least the best time of my career.
Okay.
Just staying so busy fighting every 2 weeks, flying out. I mean, life was moving quick, and I
Yeah.
had a blast. But at that time, I told my manager, David, 3 Point Management, and Dave and SchuZ, I'm like, look, my main goal is to fight and to stay as busy as possible.
Okay.
Because again, I'm not trying to waste no time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really want this and I mean it. And I'm willing to do anything to get what I want. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
please help me to stay busy. And they did that. I did my part by fighting, taking care of business, staying healthy, staying in the gym. They did their part on getting me the right fights, not
Mm-hmm.
just fighting, because
Yeah.
you know a lot of people do that.
Yep.
That's not why I'm here. I told him I want to fight, but I need the right opponents. Meaning, don't build me up, because if you build me up and I don't have the experience, then I'm wasting time. I
Mm.
need the right opponents, and that's what they did.
All right, I have to ask you and follow up on that portion you just talked about. So many guys out there will have a stat pad, a record. Obviously, I think if you start off when you're 18 years old or something, you probably might have a little bit more stat pads because you're 18 years old. But for a lot of guys, that experience against legitimate competition, building yourself up the right way is key for a lot of guys. Do you feel like in today's era that's now been almost misused just to go get as many fights as possible and as good of a record as possible?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. I'm not dropping names, but man, there's someone that's like 40 something and right?
40,
Hasn't had a
44
big
and 0.
fight, because I don't know. I don't know of him. And he was talking big. I'm like, brother, nobody knows you. Respectfully, he
Yeah.
was talking about Cormel Mano, like, oh, you're this and that. I'm like, bro, he's young, and he's a young store. You can't hate on him. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know who you're talking
Like,
about. Yep.
look, I'm not dropping names, but you get my point, right? And
Yep.
then later it came and bit him in the ass, ended up losing in the but long story short, bro. Yeah, me personally, I don't think that's a good thing, because what are we doing? Are we looking are we pretending to be the thing, or do we want to be the real thing? I don't want a piece of paper to say that I'm this good. I want to show you with my actions. Actions speak louder than words in paper. Point blank, period.
100% agree with that one. All right. So we go to this portion now, and obviously we talked about the David Jimenez fight already. As you've now turned yourself over from the David Jimenez fight, you built yourself back up, #1 contender in the WBA now. When you look at what you've got yourself back into position wise, how much of a relief is it now to be back in this position?
Hey, I'm proud of myself, really, really.
Yeah.
So many people counted me out. Well, first of all, so many people did not believe in me first.
Yeah.
Then I got to #1. Then I got the world title, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge stepping stone itself. I end up losing. I fall. Call it whatever you want to call it. They count me out. The whole time in my head, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be back. I got here once. I could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
People counted me out. Okay, it's all good. I ignore the noise and I slowly come back, and I'm one again, bro. I really took a step back. I'm like, man, I'm proud of me. I'm really proud, because I believe in me, bro. And that's all I need, because I believe. That's why I'm back at #1. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
proud of me, and I'm
I
gonna
love it.
keep doing it. My main goal is to become a world champion. That was my main vision when I started. So I will become a world champion. I am a world champion. It will happen.
I love that. All right, so when can we see you back in the ring? You just fought another couple weeks ago, so it's probably gonna be a little bit of time off. But when do you want to get back in that ring?
That's a tough one. I want to be in the ring as soon as possible. I want to stay
Okay.
busy. Um, due to the fact of my situation with the rankings, and it's gonna be a little slow. But to answer your question, September. I'm looking to be back September.
Okay.
Hopefully, we could be sooner, but September.
All right. And at that situation, are you looking for just a stay busy fight once again, or is this a fight that we could see you against one of the guys we talked about earlier?
I'm looking to fight. My job is to fight. Stay ready, take care of me. My promoter and my manager's job is to get me the best fight out there.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
For
So
sure.
I don't look. I don't pick my opponents, brother.
Mm.
I prepare myself. That's what I do.
All right.
I talk to my team. I let them know what I'm trying to do, and they put me in the best position for me to get the job done. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying? We
Yep.
all play a role. So yeah, a lot of people wanna comment on the fact that, oh, Scrappy, you're picking your opponent. No, I don't pick my opponents. We get what we can, and we get the best opportunity.
hmm Is there a certain timeline that you either hope for or you even know talking to your management team, your promotions, that you could possibly find for a world championship? And if so, when would that be?
At the end of this year.
Okay.
Listen, we're in talks with Jesse Band. We're trying to make that fight happen this year.
All right.
So yeah, I'm 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 not hoping. I'm staying ready, taking care of business, and I'm taking it at a fight at a time. You know, my whole law my laws made me like really slow it down, and it made me realize like I was moving on at a fast pace. I fought 8 times that first year, so
Yeah.
it felt like I was obtaining everything I wanted like fast.
hmm
But Rome wasn't built in 1 year, 1 day.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a process. I gotta trust the process, and I gotta take it a fight at a time. I've been so concerned with that, with the final outcome, bro, the world champion. And I haven't missed the process, but you don't get to really experience the process, the ups and downs. So I've been trying to live in the process.
All right. I love that. Well, I want a couple more questions before I let you go. One of which is I introduced you as Scrappy. How did you get the
Yeah.
nickname?
My football coach gave me that nickname
Okay.
due to the fact that I was always fighting my teammates. Being the smallest, being the smallest, the shortest player on the team, and having a big mouthpiece, it requires a lot of I gotta hold my own. You get
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's awesome. So, all right, another thing I have to ask you about is Zerto. You guys are part of the same team together. You guys work out a lot. And obviously, I know some of the stuff is a little bit crazy. Obviously, you're at 115, he's at cruiserweight. How have you guys been able to work off each other and kind of help make each other better as in your guys' careers?
um, boxing motivation is like it motivates like 10% of the time. So we to laugh about with during the hard times. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing to two fighters, same team today is just to have the same dream, become the best fighter and win world champions, big fights. That's really our relationship. He has a lot of experience, so I try to learn a lot from him, and I'm real disciplined, and the way I view boxing has helped him. Has also helped him. I could see him. I could see the things that I do translating with him as well. So that's what you call iron sharpening iron.
Right. I have to ask you as well. Your ring walk outfits are phenomenal. I have to ask you about that. How did you come up with those ideas? Who gets you those created for yourself? Just give us the whole backstory behind all those.
All right, so shout out to What's Your Hustle, Johnny De La Cruz. he has helped me with my fight fits, and really my fight fits come from it's a creative thing where if I see something, I try to find some type of motivation and built off that. Um, Different fights. I mean, when I lost, you saw after I lost, or at least when I fought for the world title, the thing was the samurai, right?
Right.
I'm big on the samurai culture, just like their beliefs and their discipline,
Right.
lifestyle. Like it's motivated. So I picked up and I wanted to use that for that world title fight. That's why I came out with the mask and the
Hmm.
red fit. And really, it's all about just having fun, bro. Like it's creative and fun. I put that together. That's what I enjoy doing. Some things I just don't know. I just doing. It feels good. It looks good.
Right.
Like I feel like we live in a world nowadays where people wanna hear the motive to every move. Like some moves don't have no motives. It just
Right.
feels good. It looks good. I have like fun.
Yeah.
And those are really my motives. That's why I like to do things. If they feel good, if it looks good, I'm doing them. At the end of the game, it's all about having fun.
Right.
That's my creative process.
All right. Last question I have for you, Scrappy, and it's a question like wrapping up every interview with, is talking about your legacy. When the day does come, you put down the gloves for the final time. What do you want to be remembered for what you have accomplished both inside and outside of the ring?
What do I want to be remembered for inside and outside the ring? Outside the ring, inside the ring, I want to be remembered for being a entertaining fighter, a
Right.
skilled fighter, and a fighter that accomplished what he said he wanted to accomplish. Outside the ring, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself, bro. Honestly.
Mm.
That's it. I'm far from perfect. I know that, but I'm looking to just be a better human being. You feel me? I'm gonna keep making
Right.
mistakes, so I'm not too focused on that, honestly. People gonna view me how they want to. They all got different point of views. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I give you that's cocky. It's simple as that, but there's no cocky. I don't think I'm better than you, brother.
Mm.
I just believe in myself. That's all.
I
I'm
like it.
not bringing you down to bring myself high. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So I'm not in control of that. So what I am in control, bro, is being a better being. And I'm trying, dog.
I love it. Well, Scrappy, I appreciate you for taking time to come on in, man. It's been a blessing having you on here. I cannot wait to see what God's got next for you, man.
Good looking, bro. Appreciate your time and yeah, all my people stay tuned. The scratch show continue. And y'all got hella time to get y'all popcorn ready.
I love it, man. Well, you're always welcome on, Scrappy. Appreciate you for coming on again, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, talk to you later,
Arizona,
man.
what's up?
For sure, man. I'll talk to you later, man. See you, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you.
Sounds good,
Peace
bro.
out.
See you, man. I appreciate you guys all for tuning into the interview. I'll have that clipped up, edited out, and then posted on my YouTube channel very shortly. I'm going to go on a short break, and they'll get right back to the remainder of the show. We'll be previewing the All Women's Championship card going down tomorrow, as well as some boxing news right after that. If you guys have any comments or things you guys want me to discuss on today's show, leave it in the chat, and I'll make sure to address that as I go throughout today's show. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. God bless you guys. Welcome back to the SchuZ Show, everybody. Hope you guys are all having an incredible Thursday. At this portion of the show will now be a preview of tomorrow's all-women's championship card going down at Madison Square Garden. It is regarded as the greatest women's card ever put together. It's top to bottom stacked. And I don't have a picture currently attached to the show, but there was a picture of at the press conference a couple days ago. The amount of belts involved on tomorrow's card is insane. What Jake Paul and Most Valuable Promotions has put together right now with this women's card tomorrow, there is nothing that ever has competed with it, and I'm not sure if you ever can compete with this. You're talking about championship after championship, undisputed fights, championship fights, absolutely stacked card going down tomorrow. So let's go get down right to it and preview it. Start off with the main event. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, number 3. This will be an incredible trilogy. The first two are already classics, two of the greatest women's fights we have seen. And when we look back at it, everybody remembers especially the number 2. When you talk about the fight going down right before Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, that will be the main event. It is for undisputed super lightweight title. Katie Taylor's 24-1 with 6 KOs, whereas Serrano's 47-3-1 with 31 KOs. This will be the trilogy fight between these two. And when you talk about these two, I don't think we're going to get anything short of an absolutely legendary performance from these two. Both of these women are absolute warriors. These two have put on incredible shows in the first two. And listen, I think most fans would say this as well. They would not mind seeing a fourth one if it goes according to plan tomorrow. And obviously, if Katie Taylor wins that one, it would make a lot of sense to have happen. But when you talk about entertaining, incredible fights, these two have brought it time and time again. I think we're going to see that again. That being said, though, I have Katie Taylor winning this trilogy fight. Now moving to 3-0. I believe that it's going to be an absolute war, but I believe that she will be able to pull away in the very end of this fight as well. It's going to be neck and neck. Serrano obviously has a shot at beating her, but Katie Taylor, in my opinion, will be the victor tomorrow night's main event. Alicia Baumgartner fighting Jennifer Miranda for the undisputed super flyweight title. Alicia is 15-1 with 7 KOs. She defends her undisputed 130-pound title against Spain's Jennifer Miranda, who is 12-0 with 1 KO. Alicia's last fight ended in a issue in terms of the cut happening. Obviously didn't allow the fight to continue very long. She's now returning. I expect her to win by mid-round stoppage. She is going to have an incredible performance. She's going to have all the belts, continue to have all the belts in this fight, and I believe it's going to be an incredible fight in this performance here. Then you have Savannah Marshall fighting against Shadisha Green for the unified super middleweight title. The IBF and the WBO are on the line for this one. I have Marshall winning this one by decision. Her size and accuracy should keep Green at bay. I do have her emerging victorious in this fight, though. Also, Ellie Scottney fighting Yamith Mercado under unified super bantamweight titles. Ellie has the IBF and WBO, while Yamith has the WBC belt. So we're going to have 3 belts on the line for this fight. Once again, a great fight. This could come down to either way, I believe. But in my opinion, Scottney will come out with the decision victory here. I believe her precision and movement will be too much and will help neutralize Mercado and her pressure. Finally, the other one I want to discuss, actually 2 more we're going to get into here because listen, this is a stat card going down tomorrow. I'm only going to be breaking down the championship fights just to clarify that for everybody. But Jamaica Johnson fighting Schroeder Metcalf, undisputed bantamweight title. All the belts will be on the line for this one and in this fight. I do believe that Johnson will win by decision. Metcalf is 40 years old. Obviously, she wants to go out on top with a great victory here to become undisputed at bantamweight. However, I believe that Johnson's speed and accurate activity should carry her through to another victory tomorrow night. And the last fight I'm going to break down. Chantel Cameron fighting Jessica Kamara, WBC interim super lightweight title. This will be from the former undisputed champion Chantel Cameron. She returns against the Canadian veteran Jessica Kamara. This is going to be for the WBC interim championship, as I said. I believe Cameron will win by decision in this fight. Her pace and physicality should be too much in this one. Listen, tomorrow night, I already talked about this. This is going to be will be the greatest women's card ever assembled. There's not much competition for this one because, listen, you're talking about all these championship fights. You have 3 undisputed fights, 2 other championship fights. This is an incredible, phenomenal card. There's not many things you could compare to in terms of this many belts on the line in a card in recent memory in boxing, regardless of gender. So tomorrow night will be an absolutely phenomenal fight card going down at Madison Square Garden. Let's head over to some boxing news now. NAOYA Inoue has officially announced that he will be returning to the ring September 14th against MJ. This is going to be insane. Now, listen to the dates here. September 14th is going to be critical when you look at this right now. Why? Because this fight will be going down right after the Terrence Bud Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight that's going to be happening. Their fight is going to be September 13th. This will be September 14th. So what does that mean? Most likely the way it's going to end up being is that right when Terrence Bud Crawford Canelo is done, about, what will we say, 8-ish hours afterwards, you'll then be having NAOYA Inoue fighting MJ on an undisputed bantamweight championship fight. Absolutely incredible. It's going to be a great fight right there. And listen, let me just make this very clear. A lot of people went out there and thought that NAOYA Inoue was ducking MJ. I already gave my thoughts on that before. He never ducked MJ. He's not scared of MJ, and he's going to do the same thing to MJ that he has done to every other guy at the bantamweight division. The promotion behind MJ by Eddie Hearn, making this sound like it's going to be a competitive fight, is great from the standpoint of Eddie Hearn. He is a great promoter. It's been proven. But the biggest thing here to notice is that, listen, NAOYA Inoue has a massive gap in talent, power, and everything over MJ. This fight's not going to last very long, and he will take care of business when he returns to the ring September 14th. Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney faced off and had a little bit of an altercation today. Okay. Let me make this just very clear. I'm not going to dive too much into this because I'm not somebody that really cares about these things that happen outside of the ring. What happened today, for anybody that's seen the video, looked like something that was planned, at least at the beginning. But I do believe that as that continued to progress, we saw a situation start to unfold where now you're looking at Brian Norman, Devin Haney, the bodyguards got involved. Maybe they weren't keyed in on what to do in that situation. And you have one bodyguard ripping Brian Norman Jr.'s shirt in half, and then he gets shoved down. Props to Brian Norman there. But listen, that fight was good for promotion. I'm excited for the fight. It'll be interesting to see how the press conference goes down tomorrow. But listen, that was obviously forced and set up, in my opinion. And then I think the bodyguards took it a little bit too far. I will admit, the good promotion job. Bill Haney knows what he's doing, as well as Brian Norman Sr. So interesting there, but we'll see how the press conference goes down tomorrow. The last thing I want to get into on today's show, Jake Paul had a meeting with Turki Alalshikh, and this is what's shocking to me. These two guys have been going back and forth. If we remember, I was very critical of the way that the ring wanted to critique every single move by Most Valuable Promotions in Jake Paul's card. There was clearly a little bit of a tension between the two, to say the least, and it's been obvious, social media and everything involved. And then all of a sudden, we look at social media last night, and Turki Alalshikh and Jake Paul were meeting with each other. Makes you wonder. Is something going on? Here's what Jake Paul said. My/MVP's goal has always been to disrupt and grow boxing, and Turki has done that in a massive way. Collaborating only helps ensure boxing for men and women, for women and men, continues to grow and regain its place as the biggest sport in the world. That's Jake Paul on his meeting with Turki Alalshikh. Listen, massive props. I'm not going to assume that these two guys are all good with each other now, that they're perfect best friends, but I will say this. What boxing needs is for everybody to work together. In every avenue of life, when two people come together and work, it typically ends up working out better than two guys doing it by themselves. And when we're looking at boxing, the biggest hindrance for the past decade has been guys and promoters particularly not wanting to work together. But here's the situation now. MVP I've given props to time and time again. They are willing to make fights with whoever, whenever, wherever. And you have to give props to them for that. Their cards underneath Jake Paul have always been great. The women's card I just talked about is phenomenal. They are willing to make fights with whoever, whenever, wherever. And that deserves a lot of credit. And Turki Alalshikh has been the same way. He has drawn promoters together because of his paycheck and his financial backing that has been able to make this massive barrier go away. And that's been huge for boxing. And so when you look at this, it just once again goes to show. If Turki Alalshikh truly is willing, and he's shown it time and time again, to work with literally anybody in boxing for the betterment of the sport, how do you not love that? How do you not give credit to Turki Alalshikh for doing that? There's been too much of an ego in boxing for far too long, and it's damaged the sport in a massive way. But here, Turki Alalshikh is willing to work with Jake Paul. And that deserves immense credit because for the betterment of the sport, that is what we need. So we'll see where that meeting ends up unfolding, what comes from that meeting. But massive props to Jake Paul and Turki Alalshikh for making that meeting happen. And I'm excited to see what they have for boxing fans in the future. With that being said, I hope you guys are having an incredible Thursday and have a great remainder of you guys' Thursday. I will be back live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'll be announcing that guest in the morning. But I hope you guys do have a great rest of you guys' Thursday. May God bless you guys all. See you guys back here in just about, what are we looking at now? 16 hours. So I'll see you guys shortly. May God bless you guys all. SchuZ out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless.